At the outset of each new console generation, the internet is usually flooded with a barrage of rumors and speculation about upcoming consoles, and unsurprisingly, that has also been the case with the upcoming PS5. Over the last year or two, and especially over the last few months, there's been no shortage of rumors about the PS5. Some somewhat believable, a few that we even ran here at GamingBolt. Others, not so much. With the benefit of hindsight, though, we know now exactly which ones were pure bollocks and which ones were not, and here we're going to talk about a few of the former. Looks like a traditional console. Microsoft certainly took people by surprise when they revealed the Xbox Series X's monolithic tower design, owing to how different it looked from the form factor consoles have usually gone for in recent years. And in the months following that reveal, there was plenty of speculation about what the PS5 looked like as well. One report by Russian outlet GameMag toward the end of May reported that it would look like a traditional console, a flat, square, symmetrical box with rounded edges. That, of course, turned out to not be true. While the PS5 is certainly relatively more conservative in its design than the Xbox Series X, one look at it is enough to tell you that there's nothing traditional about its design. V-shaped console. Of course, some reports about the PS5's form factor went in the exact opposite direction. Images of the console's dev kit had been making the rounds on the internet in the early months of 2020, showing a very distinct-looking V-shaped unit. Dev kits are, of course, almost never representative of what the actual final console would look like, but there were quite a few who believed that that was what the PS5 would eventually end up looking like on store shelves as well. That would have certainly been interesting, but we're glad that speculation turned out to be false. 13.3 T-flops. Console specs are often at the center of more rumors and speculation than any other things in the months leading up to a new console's launch. There were quite a few reports claiming to know the PS5 specs, one in particular definitely overestimating several aspects of the hardware, particularly its RAM and GPU. This report claimed that the PS5 would have a 13.3 T-flops GPU with 60 compute units at 1.7 GHz. For RAM, it claimed that not only would the console have a 16GB GDDR6 RAM, which the final console does have, but also a 4GB DDR4 RAM for background operations, which it most certainly doesn't. Controller. Very early in 2020, when details on the DualSense hadn't been revealed, most of us were expecting the next PlayStation controller to be another DualShock iteration. And sure enough, details on the PlayStation France website were posted that claimed that all PS4 models were compatible with both DualShock 4 and DualShock 5, which we obviously took to mean that our suspicions were correct. That turned out to not be the case, and most likely those details on the PlayStation France page were posted in error. Batman game at reveal event. It's been a long time since Batman Arkham Knight came out, and there's been a flood of rumors and leaks about the next Batman game over these last few years, fueled mostly by the teases by developers WB Games Montreal themselves. It might as well be official at this point, and hopefully it will be soon, but we've been dead certain of an upcoming announcement for a long time, and have been proven wrong more than once. There were many who believed that the next Batman game would be unveiled at the PS5 reveal event in June, and this speculation was boosted by a leaked image that supposedly showed the game's title card from the end of its reveal trailer. It turned out to be a load of crap, of course, joining a long list of rumors about the next Batman game that have turned out to be false. Silent Hill at reveal event. Konami's beloved survival horror franchise has grabbed quite a few headlines this year, with multiple reports claiming that it's in line for a comeback. Whether or not that turns out to be true remains to be seen, but a couple of rumors have been proven conclusively false by now, such as one that said that the series' reboot would be unveiled as a PS5 exclusive at the console's reveal event in June. Silent Hill was nowhere to be found in that event, much to our dismay, but we're still holding out hope that the reveal will come sooner rather than later. Announced at E3 2019. This was one of those rumors that seemed like a load of bull the moment we first saw it. Originating on the Beyond 3D forums, this rumor listed a bunch of ridiculous specs for the PS5, including a 24GB GDDR6 RAM running at a bandwidth of 880GB per second. And as if that wasn't enough, it also claimed to be revealed at E3 2019, followed by a launch in the first half of 2020. Even if COVID-19 had not happened, there's no way that timeline would have even been slightly accurate. Announced in February 2020. This one was much easier to believe, and so many of us did for so long. There was an absolute deluge of reports towards the end of 2019 and in early 2020 claiming that the PS5 would be revealed at a PlayStation meeting-style event in February 2020, and there was no reason to believe that that would not happen. The timeline made sense, and the fact that the PS4 had been revealed in similar fashion in February 2013 made it seem that much more likely. It's entirely possible that it was indeed what Sony was originally planning, and that the pandemic threw a wrench into their plans. But it didn't happen after all, and we had to wait until June to get our first real look at the console. Delayed into 2021. Another one that was quite easy to believe. Since the moment they started talking about it, Sony have remained adamant that the PS5 will launch in holiday 2020. But a few months into this year, there were several reports that claimed that the console might get delayed into 2021. And it made sense, too. These reports claimed that the pandemic had presented a number of hurdles in the console's manufacturing process, with procurement of components and actually putting them together in factories both being severely hampered by the pandemic. Sony staunchly maintained that the PS5 would not be delayed, however, and now it seems very unlikely that the console will not launch this holiday. Will launch with PS5 Pro. Reports of Microsoft entering the next generation with multiple Xbox SKUs have been making the rounds on the internet for over a year now, and towards the end of 2019 we started hearing similar things about the PS5 as well. It was claimed, for instance, that Sony would launch the PS5 and a PS5 Pro equivalent together at the end of 2020. But we're very close to the console's launch now, and it does not seem like that will be the case. Will launch with PSVR 2. Given how much Sony have been investing in VR, and they seem to want to continue to do so, it made sense to assume that when the PS5 launched, so too would a new PSVR headset. And there were quite a few reports that have claimed this would indeed be the case. Considering the fact that the PSVR headset is also in need of several upgrades in terms of hardware and features, it seemed entirely plausible. Sony, however, quickly put those rumors to rest before the PS5 had even officially been unveiled, stating in no vague terms that though the PS5 would of course support PSVR, for the foreseeable future they had no plans to release a new headset. Horizon Zero Dawn sequel will be a launch title. Whenever anyone speculated or talked about the PS5's launch lineup, one name that got brought up almost every single time was Horizon Zero Dawn 2, and multiple rumors, and perhaps confirmation bias, led the masses to believe that the then unannounced sequel would be the big flagship PS5 launch title. Given the fact that the first game would be over 3 years old by the time the PS5 launched, people believed that Guerrilla would have had enough time to develop the sequel. Sony did end up revealing Horizon Forbidden West in June, but as we know now, it won't be out until 2021. Jak and Daxter remake. Honestly, it seems like there are new rumors and supposed leaks about a Jak and Daxter revival every year. This one in particular emerged when we didn't know what it was that Bluepoint Games were working on, and claimed that the studio was remaking the entire PS2 trilogy, which would be released as a collection on the PS5 at launch, no less. So yeah, it was hard to believe right from the get-go. Extensive legacy backward compatibility. That Sony would have backward compatibility in the PS5 to at least some extent was something most were pretty sure of early on, especially given the fact that Microsoft were going all in on the same with the Xbox Series X. Some early reports, however, definitely went a bit overboard with things, claiming that the PS5 would be able to run every single PS1, PS2, PS3, and PS4 game, and go toe-to-toe with the Xbox's extensive legacy backward compatibility. We know now that that's surely not going to be the case. The PS5 will have backward compatibility for PS4 games, but legacy backward compatibility remains a pipe dream.
And that about does it for this video. If you enjoyed what you watched and want to see more from GamingBolt, you can always hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell icon next to it. That way you will never miss any of our videos.